All right, let's stand for our first song, which is I Dreamed of Rain.
I'm looking for clouds.
Yeah.
They'll be here by this afternoon.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4.
I dreamed of rain and the rains came, soft and easy, sweet and clear. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of summer and the winds changed, and the green was easy and the rivers ran clear. I dreamed of summer and the winds changed, and peace spread over the land. And that the flowers bloom in the desert, and the air is fresh and clear. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of heaven and the earth sang, and the sound was easy and the song was clear. I dreamed of heaven and the earth sang, and peace spread over the land. And the flowers bloom in the desert, and the air is fresh and clear. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, and peace spread over the land.
Test. One, 2, 3, 4.
Thoughts and prayers are good indeed. If you wanna grow a garden, gotta plant a lot of seeds. Water them, tend them patiently. Living in spirit, peace, love, and happiness. Peace, love, and happiness. Thoughts and prayers are tools of man, but if you wanna grow a future, gotta make a plan. Work on it, stick to it earnestly. Living in spirit, peace, love, and happiness. Peace, love, and happiness. Thoughts and prayers are what they say will help us to understand all that's happening today. Good will triumph, guaranteed. Living in spirit, peace, love, and happiness. Peace, love, and happiness. Happiness. Living in spirit.
All right, good morning. While you're on your feet, turn to one another and offer the Namaste Greeting. Namaste, beloveds. Namaste to our musicians, Ron. Namaste, Jimmy. In the back, Travis and Brian and Joy. Namaste. Namaste to our Zoomers. Blessings, beloveds. It's May Day. Happy May Day, May 1st. Good morning. Please also take a moment to silence your cell phones. Thank you. And I will remind you to turn them back on at the end. You're welcome. And for those of you who are new or tuning in for the first time, I'm Reverend Elizabeth Rowley Hogue, and I'm the spiritual director and senior minister here. And it is my joy to say to you, welcome to the Awakening Ways spiritual community, where all that we ask is that you remain open to the possibility of awakening to the loving heart, the inspired mind, and the sacred soul present in every life. We are an independent New Thought community, and we follow the teachings of Ernest Holmes. This service has been designed especially for you. Welcome home. We have been waiting for you. We have an affirmation for today, and I invite you to please repeat after me. I am blessed and grateful for my emotions and feelings. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. And so it is. Okay, now we'll have our practitioner for today, Anna, come up, and looks like there we go, Brian to the rescue, dun-da-da. She will do our opening prayer and science mind reading, Ernest Holmes reading.
Good morning. So, we are a community that knows the power of prayer. Many, 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 many demonstrations of prayer at work. So, there are 4 ways that we can request prayer. One way is to fill out the pink or salmon-colored paper on the table back there, put it in the prayer box, and the soul support team will pray for your request for the week. And there are 14 members on the soul support team. Another way is to send an email to information@awakeningways.org. info@awakeningways.org. And the little title, prayer request, and it will be forwarded to the soul support team. Another way, if you would like to delve a little deeper into the spiritual principles at work in your life, you can take a card from the table there and arrange for an appointment and spend about an hour together examining things. And then another way is today. I'm available after the gathering, and I can meet you in the lobby, and we can have a quick little, what we like to call, 3-minute miracle. So with that, I will share a reading from Ernest Holmes' 365 Science of Mind, which is a book that has writings from Ernest Holmes every single day. That's a great way to start the day. So this is what I chose for today. I know that all the beauty of form around me is the garment of God. I know that the presence that manifests in my heart and mind is God expressing within that garment of form. As I feel this presence more and more, I hear the song of joy deep within me. Always when I'm still, I hear the song of life pouring through my consciousness. I have only to listen, for it is always there. So knowing that this loving presence, this joyful presence, is always here, always deep within and all around, up and down, here and there, everywhere, knowing that this presence is always with us. I know that we experience it here this morning, especially as this sacred space has been prepared for us. I know that the musicians are expressing this divine love, this divine joy with the music that they play. And I know that the words that Reverend Elizabeth will be speaking today have a message for each and every one of us. And I know that each and every one of us with an open heart and an open mind, experiences this loving presence, experiences this deep, abiding joy. And we are so grateful to have this time each Sunday to be together, to experience an open heart, open mind, to know, to feel, to experience the divine presence. And I am so grateful that we have this blessed, beloved community in which to gather. I release these words into the law, knowing that this is so, and together we say, and so it is.
Everybody here came through these doors to touch something special in their heart. And all I want to do is be with you. Running through like a river to the shore, there's a golden thread of truth. And all I want to do is be with you. Life sounds like I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive. Whoa. We know heaven is where we are. There's no more need for seeking. We already have all that God is. Now that's the secret, that's the treasure, seemingly hidden within. Let's hold it out for all the world to see. This is what it sounds like. I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive. Whoa. This is what it sounds like. I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive. Whoa. We know heaven. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Everybody here just wants to be the best that we can be. But all I want to do is be with you. Life sounds like I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive. Whoa. You know life sounds like I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive. This is what it sounds like. I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive. And all I want to do is be with you.
All right. Woohoo! Thank you. Wow, that is better than coffee, right? Oh my goodness. Are you feeling alive? We are alive, alive, alive. And in case you're asleep, I've got this bright blazer to wake you up. I'm alive. Good morning, loves. Hello. Wow, it's so good to be here on this day, May 1st. It is May Day, and so Beltane blessings to you all. Beltane is the Gaelic May Day festival that's held on May 1st, and this is the day that is halfway between the spring equinox and the summer solstice. So here comes the sun. Yes, I love it. And so it's a perfect day for us to launch our Seed of Awakening for May, which is emotions. What? Emotions. Yes, we're going to explore emotions this month. And you know, our theme for the year is living everyday wonder. And so we're really looking at the wonder of emotions, which is about, wow, our emotions are these amazing resources that help us learn more about ourselves. And emotions can provide a lot of great information. Yes? Yes, our feelings and emotions serve as a guide for us in processing the areas that we are called to reflect, explore, and grow in. And so there are so many emotions to choose from on this emotional continuum. Can you testify to that? Yes. There are so many to choose from. And being human, emotions are a default within our central response center. So we're going to explore that, and we're going to explore this month our opportunity to really look at the emotions, especially the ones that we have labeled as bad, wrong, or embarrassing, or whatever we have labeled it in a negative way. Yes? So we do this with, for instance, fear. We do this with anger, and we're going to really look at these and start to get clear on how we can look at what is causing these emotions and go underneath and feel the emotions, not just pray them away, because we're really good at that. I'm really good at that. Oh, just pray it away. But the problem with that is we end up not processing the emotion, and then they tend to come up at the most inopportune times. So we don't want that. We are awakening ways, so we are awakening to all of these areas of our consciousness, and that includes the areas which we've been trained and conditioned to think we can't show these or experience these. But I'm here to tell you that all of it is welcome, and all of it is perfect, and we see you, we love you, and we love you exactly as you are, and we know that you can't stay that way. And that is beautiful too, isn't it? To feel that love in those emotions, knowing that it too will transform. So as we explore our emotions and feelings, our focus is really on this mental equivalent for us to gain a different perspective rather than be afraid of the emotions or to try to push them down. Now, for those of you who were here last Sunday, we had the wonderful volunteers, Jen and Susan, come up, and they demonstrated perspective. And we had a cup. If you weren't here, there was a cup with a handle on one end, but only one person can see the handle. The other person can't see it. And so in order to see it, they've got to change their perspective. And that's what we are called to do. So we're definitely called to avoid praying it away through spiritual bypass, and instead apply our spiritual practice to work through it, to work through our emotions, to breathe through it, and to find a way to face the scary monsters that we have labeled as such, to not really be scary after all. And that is powerful. That is so powerful for us. We may even realize as we are doing this that there was maybe a misperception or a false narrative trying to appear real. And we may realize that we're trying to assign meaning to something erroneously. Human beings, we human beings, are meaning-making machines. We love to add meaning, and we add meaning to everything. Even right now, you might have just said in the back of your mind, what does that mean? That's just what we do. That's just what we do. So knowing that we have perceptions and we're meaning-making machines, we can become open to the truth. And the truth will always present itself as we dive more deeply into our emotions. Now, emotions require balance also, so that we don't spiral downward into a dark abyss or become oversaturated in a bliss that doesn't include the reality of the human experience. Now, I am a joyful person. Have you noticed? I'm a joyful person, and sometimes it may seem that I'm too far over on that blissful side. I need to cheer down a little bit. But I can tell you that I also experience these emotions, and I experience them, and I experience them in my way. And I mean, you don't want to see me up here crying and devastated. So anyway, I'm a joyful person, but I have the balance too, you know. And so there is a balance, and we all can recognize this balance and stay in Buddhism what they call the middle way. The middle way. So we don't want the pendulum to go too far one way or too far the other way. This is how we learn and grow sometimes. So we become aware of something, we step into that something, and that something goes all the way to that side. And then something happens, and then it comes all the way back to the other side. And then, middle way. It lands right in the middle. And we have our equilibrium once again. That is what we're aiming for. So I found this awesome writing in Professional Practitioner Studies, Year 2, Week 6. And I'm going to share this with you. It's a review of emotions, feelings, and beliefs. And this is through Ernest Holmes. So emotions, it says, are the recognizable expressions of our inner responses to our relationships with others and the conditions and circumstances in our life. These emotions may be positive or negative: anger, anxiety, blame, depression, fear, happiness, love, joy. And then there are feelings. Now, feelings are intimate, individual, and often hidden inner responses to our relationship to others and to the conditions and circumstances in our life. Now, they may be pleasing or painful. There may be an experience of confidence or disappointment, hurt, inadequacy, and there may be an experience of oneness and trust. And those could happen at the same time. And then there's beliefs. So the beliefs influence our inner responses and our core mental causes of our feelings and our emotions. This is our key to the kingdom. I'm going to read that again. Beliefs influence our inner responses and our core mental causes of our feelings and our emotions. So, behind every emotion is a feeling, and behind every feeling is a belief rooted in the subconscious of the individual. A thought wrapped in a feeling is a belief. For some reason, that made me think about tacos. I don't know why. It just did. So I'm going to read that again. A thought wrapped in a feeling is a belief. So feelings and emotions are effects. Feelings and emotions are effects. They are conditional states of being. We do not treat conditions. For the healing of any negative emotion or painful feeling, we must first determine the underlying belief. The belief is not the truth of the individual. Powerful. The belief is a result of past experience and can be changed. Now, Ernest Holmes says that for a healing to take place, we must separate the belief from the believer. Through spiritual counseling and spiritual mind treatment, a new way of thinking can be introduced. Principle can be established in a place of the old belief, and healing can be accomplished. This is practitioner's training, year 2. Powerful, right? So powerful. So I'm going to read that last sentence. For a healing to take place, we must separate the belief from the believer. So healing is not accomplished by stuffing our emotions and feelings. We must examine them. And what we do as human beings is we often collapse the thing that happened with our story about what happened. I may have shared this here before, but this is what we do. So you've got what happened and our story about what happened. You collapse the two, and then that little almond sliver in the middle, that's where the suffering is. And suffering is optional, but it is in that collapse where that suffering occurs and perpetuates. Why? Because we tend to tell the story over and over and over and over. That could be a song. Over and over and over and over again to our friends, to our therapist, to our practitioner, to our loved ones, our spouses. We journal about it. We tell the story of what happened over and over again. Suffering, suffering, suffering. Now, what if, instead of building up those walls and blocking the light of love from getting in, what if your story about what happened can be seen as exactly that? Your story about what happened. Without the story about what happened, you just have what happened. If you can perceive what happened as something that happened because it happened, that's very Zen. The Zen Buddhists say, what is the sound of one hand clapping? The sound of the one hand. Zen Buddhists are given koans, right? And so what is the sound of one hand clapping? And then they'll go and meditate and stare at the wall, for months, trying to determine what this koan is, and they go round and round and they intellectualize it. They try to understand it. It's that simple, the sound of the one hand. Why did what happened happen? What happened happened because it happened. It's hard to follow, isn't it? Now, if what happened happened because it happened, I'm now free to feel my feelings about what happened, not my story about what happened. So we can feel the feelings from that space, and then that's how we move through these feelings quickly. If you've ever seen the Dalai Lama or some great spiritual master speaking on TV or listening to them in a podcast or whatever, I don't know if the Dalai Lama does podcasts, that's why they giggle. I imagine him sitting in a studio. But if you ever notice that, there will be emotion. There's laughter and they'll be sharing, and he will actually experience some emotion, but it moves quickly. It moves quickly. And you can tell that in the moment it's heartfelt and it really is felt. So now that we're feeling our feelings about what happened in and from the space of what happened because it happened, we're now in our heart space. You guys are going to need more coffee, aren't you? It's okay. Our story about what happened keeps us locked in our heads. We talked about this in our Spiritual Mind Treatment Affirmative Prayer Workshop yesterday with the Foundations class. We stay locked in our heads, and what the call is to drop into our hearts. We often spin our wheels trying to intellectualize the spirit, but we haven't come here to intellectualize the spirit. We've come here to spiritualize the intellect. It is said that the longest journey we will ever take is that 12-inch journey from the head to the heart. So feel the feelings without the story. It's the story that needs to be healed. And what is healing anyway but revealing God? So we shine the light on our consciousness in all of those places. Now, I love this statement, and I'm sure you've heard it. It is what it is. You've heard that. It is what it is, and it will become what you make it. It is what it is, and it will become what you make it. Powerful again. And so, when we're young, we're taught to shut down our emotions and hide or run from them, many of us. And we have learned to label some emotions as bad and others as good, positive and negative. And then that, unfortunately, causes us to berate ourselves when we experience these normal emotions that occur in this life as human beings. This is how hidden beliefs develop. And those hidden beliefs really affect our experience. We're alive, we're alive, we're alive, we're alive. The hidden beliefs can often sabotage our heart's desire. This month, we're going to work on facing our emotions and looking underneath them to find where they developed. Then we can do the healing work necessary to process them instead of hiding from them or ignoring them. How many of you have ever hid or ignored these particular emotions? Giggles mean, yeah. Giggles are the giveaway. So by embracing these emotions, we uncover our hurts. We uncover our hurts and our pains and apply forgiveness, which is not condoning and not giving a pass to do it again, to not saying I'm a doormat, but we apply this forgiveness, we apply compassion and love to those places within us so that they can be healed and more light can be revealed so that we can move through our days feeling alive, alive, alive. So yesterday, as I mentioned, the Foundations class had their affirmative prayer. I'm calling it a play shop because it was really a play shop. It wasn't work. And that was from 10 to 2 p.m. And then in our class last week, we're in class 8. Can you believe that? We're in class 8 and there are 10 classes for Foundations. And the topic for class 8 was oneness and the spiritual practice of forgiveness. And we talked about how there is no good, bad, right, wrong, but our thinking makes it so. So if we're tuned into spirit, we really get that there is no good or bad, right or wrong, but our thinking makes it so. There simply is, and there is what there is, and God is all there is. So God is all there is, and if that is true and I exist, then I am a part of it too. Yes? Amen. The question always arises, though, well, since God is all there is, and God is supposed to be good, how does one account for the so-called evil aspects that we see in the world, like poverty, physical violence against another human being, and so on? Well, the list is endless because we, as humans, have done very well in causing the negative aspects to become real in our lives. So I love this example of a match. You may have heard this story, but consider a match. A match is a simple piece of wood with a head of special material that becomes a flame if struck against an object. Nothing is wrong with the match. It is made perfectly, and it can perform perfectly. So take example 1. Let's say I take that match, I strike it against a scratchy object, and it bursts into flame. I hold it against some paper that I've put in the fireplace. The paper responds appropriately as it does and begins to burn. It then affects the kindling that I've also placed in the fireplace, and voila, I'm ready for my quiet evening at home, reading a good book, enjoying that fire. Beautiful. Now, example 2, I take that same match, I strike it, it flames up, and I touch it to some paper that is lying against some dry straw that has been strategically placed against a building that belongs to someone else. It just takes a few minutes for the straw to convert to its flames to the building, and then we have the destruction of private property as the result of that action. Returning to that perfect match whose allness and nature is to burn, it does exactly what its nature dictates. It flames up. So consider my first example with a happy result. Does that make the match good? No, it's just an effective match. And consider the second example with a destructive result. Does that make the match bad? Yes. No. No. Bad match. It's simply being an effective match. In both cases, the perfect match, which is an idiom for God in this example, is being its perfect self. What makes its results good or bad is my use of it. So God, the principle of life, is neither good nor bad. It simply is. Now, this principle of life exists for all of us, love and law, and it is how we use it that determines the result. So I am using a perfect power, and the results are according to my use of that power. We can now arrive at the conclusion that God, as love and law, truly is neither good nor bad. It simply is. Its nature is harmonious, and the harmony will always be in agreement with our direction, our beliefs, and our attitudes. So Dr. Holmes in The Science of Mind wrote several times that thoughts become things. Well, thoughts cannot become anything until they contact that creative power, God. That in itself takes no personal energy on our part, since God is always in contact with our thoughts, our attitudes, our beliefs, whatever you wish to name them. So the interesting thing, and the thing for us to be aware of, is that God, as the law, is an inveterate eavesdropper. It's always listening. So it behooves us as the thinkers in this scenario to keep our thoughts in alignment with our good desires. That means the creative law, which I call God, is always, always, always listening and forming our experience based on the predominant nature of our thoughts. Now, we do this with emotions that we don't want to experience. The emotion is an emotion. It's not good or bad. It's an emotion. And it's there for you to look at. And knowing who you are spirit informed, that you have come here in a place of love, that you are loved beyond your wildest imagination. You can't even imagine this kind of love that Spirit has for you. It is so good. And I know that you've experienced love. You love things. I love things and people and you and all. Like, we know love. But this love is the thing that has birthed us into existence. It loves us that much. Knowing that we have that love, we can face these emotions. What does this come here to teach me? Do I have a story attached that is creating more suffering than is necessary for me? What if I were to pull that story off and look at what happened? Can I forgive? Is there something that needs to be forgiven? Some place, person, thing? Do I need to forgive myself? Is there something else here for me? And that is an individual, personal process. God agrees. So we will be much better off facing these emotions now than letting them come up in inopportune times. Face the emotions, know how loved you are by Spirit and by your community and your friends and practitioners. And this community is a container for all of us. It is a safe container. It's a place where we can share what's on our hearts and not be afraid. And we can share what we're thinking and know that we're not going to be condemned for our feelings, for any fears that we have. We love you exactly as you are, and you can't stay that way. And that is powerful. She's clapping in the back. Thank you. So welcoming our emotions, we welcome the painful emotions and look them directly in the face and see what they have to say. Now, our book of the month is, I can't remember the title of it right now, but it's by Thich Nhat Hanh, and it is about fear and facing our fear, and it is so good. It's powerful. I have the Audible, and I was listening to it last night, and he's going in deep with fear, and so we're going to explore that a little more this month as well. And I think the book of the month, we've got a couple of copies in the back if you're interested. So welcoming those emotions requires humility, facing them, humility, courage, and strength, because it might be tough, but I know we're up for it, and we're ready when we're ready. Maybe you're not up for it right now, and that's fine too, you know? So spiritual practice during these times of looking at our emotions, facing them, is very important, whether it's dancing or drumming or praying, meditating, whatever your exercise or spiritual practice is. You could be chanting on your mala, journaling, reaching out to your friends and community, reaching out to practitioners or myself, and being supported in the spiritual truth of who you are as you face those emotions. Because we sometimes forget the emotions can be so strong and the story can seem so real that we forget who we are. So that spiritual practice keeps us tuned in to KGOD and reminded of who we really are. So powerful. So our journey can also uncover anything additional that needs to be done, or any more support that we need, or it reveals often things that we need to release and let go of, vintage patterns of thinking that are no longer serving our highest and greatest good, no longer serving who we are becoming. And creating balance and harmony in our emotions is really important too. So we often experience a variety of emotions simultaneously. We experience these simultaneously, and there's so many in this emotional spice rack. So when there's a balance on the emotional spectrum, all is well. You feel that equilibrium and you can sense it, and you move through the world in that equilibrium. But when they're skewed either to one extreme or another, there is disharmony and imbalance. And you can think of it really as a spice rack, because what happens if you don't put just a little tiny, like a little pinch of cayenne pepper in something and you accidentally put a tablespoon? It's bad. There's trouble. There's no bad. It's just pepper. It's doing what it's doing. Yeah. There is trouble with that, you know? And so think of that spice, emotional spice rack, just like your real spice rack at home, and making sure you have balance with them. Too much joy and too much bliss could cause overexcitement, anxiety, and too much stimulation. Too much sadness could cause depression and an onslaught of other emotions. And too much fear could cause insecurities, isolation, unworthiness, or doubt. No, thank you. We are constantly working through our emotional processing center based on what is going on in our lives and in the world. Now, given the extreme nature of local, national, and global events and circumstances over the past couple of years, we have all been on hyperdrive emotionally. We really have been. It is a constant effort for us to work through these opportunities for emotional learning and healing, and we need to be conscious about that and really look at that. How is this affecting me and my emotional well-being? And what is mine to do or be in the midst of this? Because we don't want to be oversaturated in one or the other. We don't want to overspice our lives. So our spiritual practices, again, are so important for us to stay grounded and process these constant emotional swings of life. And so I'm going to invite Jimmy and the band to come up and prepare as I wrap us up here. So like anything in life, it takes practice. Practice, practice, practice. It takes practice for us to maintain emotional health and balance in our lives. Staying aware of our thoughts and moods and disposition is a healthy practice. And creating that balance in our lives helps our emotional center to stay balanced. Exercise, rest, a healthy diet, positive engagement with others, deep self-care, spiritual practice, healthy levels of stimulation, and activity all serve to support our balance and harmony. So remember, if our mixture is too spicy or too dull, that is a key indicator that requires our attention or focus. This is a great opportunity for us to learn and to recalibrate and to heal those places. Healing, again, is revealing more spirit. And by paying attention to the signs and signals of what may be seeking our attention based on our emotional response, we can take timely action where needed. So the call for us is to take a look at what's happening around us in our lives, in our world, and this gives us our clues for exploration. It was Maya Angelou who said, "I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." So our specific calls to action for this week are, 1, to ask ourselves, what are some of my greatest opportunities for growth in exploring and healing my emotions? 2, what are some of my greatest lessons learned recently in processing my emotions? 3, how do I measure my emotional maturity and growth? And 4, do I hold myself accountable to stretch and grow in processing my emotions? Why or why not? Let's take a breath together. And join me in turning your attention inward. And returning to that beautiful, expansive space within. This is the space where I know and remember with every fiber of my being that spirit is all that there is. It is all that there ever was, and it is all that there ever will be. And it has birthed itself into existence as me right now, as each one of us. And because it has birthed us into existence, it wants to live through us. It wants to experience all of the good of life through us, and it can only do so in a particular way through each one of us. So each one of us has a divine purpose. Each one of us has a way of being in the world, has a dharma, if you will, that can only be done by us. And so I know for each one of us that today is the day that we look at whatever that emotion is that needs to be looked at. We face it in full faith, knowing that we are so loved and that there is nothing for us to be afraid of. That we can look at this emotion and feel it and know that it is something that is moving. It is in motion. It didn't come to stay. But what we resist persists. So today is the day that we face these emotions. This month, the whole month, starting today. And we allow the emotion to move in a new way. And so I know and claim for each one of us that we are each shifted, lifted, and gifted by this experience. That just because we came here today, we had an intention for something to occur. And I know that the transformation has already begun. And it is such a gift. And I am so grateful for this gift. Thank you, Spirit, for the gift of transformation on this beautiful day. I know that as we go forward from here, we feel this sense of gratitude and love. We sense our personal relationship with the divine as an expression of love in a way that we haven't felt before, and it is magnificent. So with great gratitude, I now release this prayer, knowing it is so, and so it is. Thank you.
How sweet it is to be loved by you. How sweet it is to be loved by you.
I needed the shelter of someone's arm. There you were. Needed someone to understand my ups and downs. There you were. With sweet love and emotion. Really tough in my emotion.
I just wanna stop and thank you, baby. I just wanna stop and thank you, baby. How sweet it is to be loved by you.
Oh, just like sugar, baby.
How sweet it is to be loved by you.
Yes, it is. I close my eyes at night, wondering where would I be without you in my life. Everything I did was just a bore. Everywhere I went, I seemed I'd been here before. But you brightened up for me all of my days with a love so sweet in so many ways.
I just wanna stop
Oh,
and thank you, baby. I just wanna stop and thank you, baby. How sweet it is to be loved by you.
oh, just like sugar, baby.
How sweet it is to be loved by you.
You were better for me than I was for myself. For me, there's you and nobody else.
I just wanna stop and thank you, baby. I just wanna stop and thank you, baby. How sweet it is to be loved by you.
Just like honey, baby.
How sweet it is to be loved by you, by you, by you, by you. How sweet it is to be loved by you.
Just like jello, baby.
How sweet it is to be loved by you. Woo!
It's so sweet. Thank you. All right, so it is now time for our conscious giving, and I would like to invite Susan up. She has an announcement for us. Come on down, Susan.
What would a Sunday be like without you seeing my face? To hear, so today I'm wearing a different hat than my usual hats. As a member of the Board of Trustees, I want to thank all of you for your financial contributions to Awakening Way's spiritual community. Over the past 14 years, we have been sustained by your gifts, and we've used them to make all of this and more possible. The effect of the pandemic on our finances has been pretty dramatic, and it will take us a while to get back into that comfort zone financially. Having said that, we are doing everything we can to create new, exciting, and inclusive opportunities to allow us to spread the word about this magnificent spiritual community that we are. Right now, we are working to perfect our website so that someone who knows nothing about us can instantly see who we are and come check us out because they have found what they were looking for. This is truly exciting, and it comes with a cost. We are so blessed to have a matching donor who will graciously give $500 if we can raise the other $500. Can we do it?
Yes.
I know that we can. In fact, I got $50 extra here today for that cause. So, yes, so Science of Mind. Well, this is why, though. Here's the key. Science of Mind tells us that life is all about circulation. What you give out into the world comes back to you multiplied abundantly. So, jumpstart the abundance in your life and consider increasing your giving by a little or a lot. Every additional dollar we receive makes a huge difference and will be well spent. If you and your family and friends have benefited from the Awakening Way spiritual community, from the Sunday talks, to the soul support team, to the Hearts and Hands team, to the music, and more, and you haven't contributed financially, we invite you to please consider starting, because any amount is wonderful and greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. All right, it's now time for our conscious giving, and will the ushers please come forward? Thank you. So we have a giving affirmation. I invite you to please take your gift and place it over your heart and repeat after me. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift.
From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift.
I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper.
I send it forward to heal and bless and prosper.
It is evidence of my faith and my belief.
It is evidence of my faith and my belief.
It does great work in the world.
It does great work in the world.
And it returns to me multiplied abundantly.
And it returns to me multiplied abundantly.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Divine love flows through me, blessing all I give. Divine love flows through me, blessing all I give. Divine love flows through me, blessing all I give. Divine love flows through me, blessing all I give.
Oh, what a wonderful Sunday. What a wonderful time together. I am so grateful for these gifts of abundance. I'm so grateful for the words of wisdom, so grateful for the wonderful music. And I know that we will go out and spend the week noticing our emotions, noticing what they're showing us, and embracing the opportunity to learn and be a blessing in the world. And together we say,
And so it is.
All right, so Sonia's not here today, so our announcements angel. No, there she is.
I bet you thought the announcements were over. No, we got a lot to cover. Got your date book out? Okay, today at 1 o'clock at the office, next to the Habit, we're having our Healthy Bodies Connecting Circle, and we invite you to an in-person workshop today at 1. And that's at 7350 El Camino Real. Our own Nancy Reinstein and Joy Kent will be teaching us about ancient Chinese healing art of Qigong, which uses qi energy to clear blocked chakras. They will also lead us in a Qigong session. It's an amazing and effective art that uses meditation, controlled breathing, and gentle movement, which results in an improved physical and mental well-being, reduced stress and anxiety, and the healing and prevention of disease. I'm going to be there. I mean, seriously. Okay, don't miss this one. Our Book of the Month and Science of Mind magazine for May are available for purchase after the service. Okay, Gourmets for God. Are you ready for this? Okay. Gatherings for Good. Bidding continues today. Several of our community members have created amazing events for you to bid on and attend and raise funds for our community. You'll need to fill out a bidder form and be eligible to place a bid. When the bidding ends on May 15th, the winning bids will be identified. Credit and debit cards will be charged and checks cashed after that, after May 16th or 17th. No payments need to be made until then. Well, June 5th, after the service, in the afternoon, imagine this beautiful view overlooking the hills in Paso, and you've got your wine or your juice and your snack, and you're sitting down, and it's story time. Yeah, I just can't stop. And Linda can't stop feeding people. I can't stop telling stories to people. So I am pulling out some of my favorite picture books that have depth to them. And I'm going to share those with you. And we're going to have so much fun. Okay. The night Max wore his, we're considering having a booth at Pride Fest 2022 in SLO on May 20th, and we're seeking volunteers to be on the team to create our presence and come up with a plan. If you're interested in participating, please see Reverend Elizabeth after the service. Wait, there's more. Do you have plans for Friday night? Well, join us for movie night this Friday at 6 p.m. to watch What the Bleep Do We Know? Science and spirituality come together in this mind-bending trip down the rabbit hole. Suggested donation is $5 per person. There's a sign-up sheet in the back. And as usual, a big shout out to our volunteers and staff. Thank you for all you're doing. Yay! And so it is.
All right. Thank you, Kristen. Okay, let's circle up for our benediction and call and response.
Oh. Well, she was a librarian, you know. Yeah. Come on there, Gramps. Extraordinary. Nobody wants to hold your hand. Oh, sad. Are we part of? No, we stay over here. Yeah, you go over there. Yeah, bring it in. There you go. Come on down.
She's
I'm
good.
happy.
All right. Won't you know with me that you are never alone, that God is where you are right now and always, and all that we ever need do is turn within. And it is here we will find we are guided, sustained, directed, and inspired by a source that knows only good. Joyously let us make use of these gifts in all that we think, in all that we say, and in all that we do. Please repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening as me right now.
Something wonderful is happening as me right now.
It is this thing called life.
It is this thing called life.
Life is in my mind.
Life is in my mind.
Life is in my body.
Life is in my body.
Life is in my pocketbook.
Life is in my pocketbook.
Life is in my relationships.
Life is in my relationships.
Life is in my emotions.
Life is in my emotions.
Life is everywhere.
Life is everywhere.
I think it.
I think it.
I feel it.
I feel it.
I believe it.
I believe it.
I express it.
I express it.
I accept it.
I accept it.
Just the way that it is.
Just the way that it is.
And just the way that it is not.
Just the way that it is not.
Thank you, life.
Thank you, life.
Woohoo.
May I be filled
With love and kindness, may I be well, may I be peaceful and at ease, and may I be happy, may you be filled with love and kindness, may you be well, may you be peaceful and at ease. And may you be happy. May we be filled with love and kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. And may we be happy. How sweet it is to be loved by you. Oh, how sweet it is to be loved by you.
and you and you
How sweet it is to be loved by you. By you, by you, by you. How sweet it is to be loved by you.
we ain't done yet.
So silly sometimes.
How sweet it is to be loved by you.
All of you.
How sweet it is to be loved by you. By you, by you. How sweet it is to be loved by you. Yes, yes.